Hey my Squidlings, it's Katie here, and I hope you're having a squidlicious day today. Today's video, as you can probably tell from the title, I'm celebrating 3 years here on YouTube, which is kind of huge for me. So I thought it would be fun to recreate my first video, which is no longer public, but it is this piece right here, this lovely little mermaid. Oh, how far I have come. But you may know that I actually did a second piece last year. Same reason, I was celebrating 2 years on YouTube. So this was within a couple of years on YouTube. So for the occasion, I am going to be drawing this again. So I am not going to be using colored pencil like I did in both of these, just because I'm not skilled enough in colored pencil. I feel I really haven't used the medium as well as I want to. So I will be using colored pencil, but I am probably going to use it as a supplement over my other things. I think I'm going to be doing marker because that is what I feel like I'm good at, so I'll be coloring this in marker. So hopefully we can give this lovely lady a background instead of plain white paper like the other two. So I hope you're excited. Also, I'm going to be answering some questions that all of you have given me over in the speed paint portion. So, if you've asked a question and you want to see the answer, or if you just want to see the answers of the other people that have asked questions, stay tuned for more. Alright, now it is time to get into the questions. There are a lot of good ones, a lot of hard ones, so I cannot wait to answer them. So first, we're going to start out with the questions that I got on Twitter. @BrettAllenArt asks, who inspires you the most in art, life, or otherwise? Well, as far as art is concerned, I've got a lot of inspirations. Audra Auclair is one of them. Torianne00, Happy D Artist, Leilani Joy, all of my friends who do art, you guys are always inspirational to me. In life, this might sound kind of cheesy, but my husband's a big inspiration to me, just because he's a really hard worker and all that stuff. And some of my family members are inspirations to me as well, like my grandpa, because he's just awesome and he's really smart. And I don't know, he's just a really big inspiration in my life. Queen Chrisu asks, what is a medium that you want to try but haven't? Ugh, that's a hard one because I've tried a lot of mediums. I'm not bragging, I promise. Encaustic sound like an interesting medium to try. It's like painting with hot wax, and that sounds really interesting. What is one of your favorite games? I know you're not surprised by this answer, but Persona is one of my favorite games, just like the series in general. 4 is good. 4 is the best. 5 is pretty good. To stray away from the obvious answer, though, I really like Corpse Party because I'm a sicko. What movies have you seen recently that you really loved? Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. My favorite movie. People can fight me. It's my favorite series, so I'm sorry. Let's see, another movie. I really like Thor Ragnarok because she was good. I need to think of another. Wonder Woman was really good too. I really liked Wonder Woman, but I think everybody liked Wonder Woman. And who is your best Persona girl? Oh, that is a hard one. Okay, I'm gonna separate this by game. I really haven't played much of 3, so we're gonna pretend that one doesn't exist. For 4, Marie. I freaking love Marie. She's amazing. And for 5, unsurprisingly, it's Futaba. I absolutely love Futaba, but, I also really like Takemi, which, I mean, I never dated her or anything, but I was going to date her, and then I was like, but I love Futaba, so I didn't. We're gonna be here all day if I keep talking about Persona, so, because I love Persona. So anyway, those are the questions from Twitter. Now we're gonna move on to the questions from Instagram. Void Extra asks, who is your favorite YouTube artist? I have a lot of them. I just recently named them. Audra Auclair, Torianne00, also known as Juicy Ink, Happy D Artist, Leilani Joy. There are a lot of artists that I follow that I absolutely love. I also really love Sophia Liu. She's amazing too. So, yeah, I have a lot of YouTube artists that I follow that just ooze inspiration for me. So they're all my favorites. JinRocks81 asks, how many, if any, pets do you own? I have 2 cats and 2 dogs. And I only have 1 boy cat, and he is my absolute favorite, but don't tell the other ones that. Selborg asks, if you could have any superhero as your best friend, who would it be and why? That is actually a really hard one. Can I have Barry Allen the Flash be my best friend? So, like, if I ever want something, he can just, like, run across the world to get it. That would be A+ material. We're gonna go with that one. Small Potato Raven asks, do you have a favorite piece of art that you've made? I've got a few favorite pieces that I've done. I know, I'm really indecisive. I can never just pick one thing that I really like. I really love my Lady of the Lake picture that I did. I did it in graphite. It was a really big milestone for me because I don't ever draw in graphite. I'm really also happy with one of my Inktober pieces. I really like them all, but my favorite one was day 10. It was called, Wild, and I really just loved the whole atmosphere of the piece. I'll pop pictures on the screen if you haven't seen them already. And then recently, and I'm not really trying to point attention to this, but I'm just really proud of it, my Capricorn piece, I'm really just proud of myself for a lot of the detail I added and the fact that I took more than like an hour on it. So those are probably my 3 top pieces that I've done recently. And of course, they're all done in 2017 because I feel like I like my art more now in 2017. Well, it's 2018 now, but you know what I mean. Tamara Denoka, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. How long have you been self-employed and how many hours do you work a day? Technically, I've been self-employed since 2016. It was when I started doing conventions. And how many hours I work a day? It ranges. It really just depends on the workload. I would say anywhere between 4 to 8 hours, just depending on what I'm doing that day. And I usually try to take weekends off because those are the days my husband has off and I like to spend time with him, so, I try to take weekends off. Sometimes I'll take other days off, like if I'm sick. Other than that, I try to work at least 4 to 8 hours every day. Sometimes more, depending on what I'm doing. She also asks, does your family support your endeavors? Absolutely. I was really blessed to have been given a family that's actually really supportive of what I do. A funny story, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a scientist, and, you know, everybody was cool with that, and as I grew up, everybody was like, yeah, you should do something that smart people do, because apparently that people think I'm smart, which I don't agree with. But I really just wanted to do art, and I had people outside of my family kind of express their, you're wasting your life kind of thing, and it's like, you know what, it's my life, so why does it matter to you? But, for the most part, that I know of, my whole family supports me. My husband is my biggest supporter. Obviously, he lets me stay home and do this. My mom really pushed me. She really supported my artistic endeavors, especially whenever I was first getting started into art. So I'm just really thankful that I do have a family that supports it. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't. I know I'm gonna butcher your name because I read it in my head one way and it's probably pronounced another, but the crisis, I love you and I know who you are in my heart. If you could use only 5 art supplies for the rest of your life, what would it be? Or alternatively, if you could only use one medium, watercolors, pencils, etc. for the rest of your life, what would it be? I'll do both of those because it sounds like fun. Okay. First one, if I could only use one medium for the rest of my life, I would definitely pick watercolors. Just because I feel like I'm not good enough, because I still really don't think I'm great at them. I feel like I'm comfortable enough in that medium to use it for the rest of my life and be happy. As far as as far as 5 art supplies for the rest of my life, my Uniball Signo white gel pen, provided it never ran out of ink. Fluid watercolor paper. My Lucas 1862 watercolors, because those are my favorite. A Derwent 4H pencil, because I've recently fell in love with that, and a black Factus eraser. Those would be only things I mean, I could live with that. Those are what I live in right now. Like, I swear I don't use anything else. But those would be the 5 things that I would pick to use for the rest of my life. So apparently, watercolor is where it's at. Alright, and then lastly, on YouTube, I got a lot of questions. So, Extra Laptop, your name is adorable. Who is your favorite YouTube artist? I kind of already answered this, so If you're watching this, you already know my favorite YouTube artists. Nikki Mouse asks, who is your inspiration? That kind of ties into my favorite YouTube artists, but I'll go a little further. I really love the art of Persona. That's a really big inspiration for me. Also, anime in general. You guys may or may not see anime influence in my art, but I really love anime, and it's always been a driving factor in my art, so that's probably another thing. Queen Chrisu asks, I know I asked questions on Twitter, but what game did you play last year that you really loved? Honestly, this is a big list. I still haven't finished it, but Horizon Zero Dawn was good. Or is good because I still haven't finished it. Why are you asking the hard questions? Splatoon 2 is a good one. Breath of the Wild was a good one. It wasn't my favorite, but it was good for the exploration point, and the DLC added, like, fresh take on it, so I was pretty happy about that. Persona 5, oh my god, was that 2017? Feels like it was an eternity ago. Persona 5 was a really good one. Doesn't beat Persona 4, but, you know, it was good still. And Stardew Valley, I think, I'm gonna leave that list there, I know it's a big one, but, and Stardew Valley, I really, really like Stardew Valley, especially when it finally freaking came out on the Switch. I have so many hours on that thing. Probably not a ton, but more hours than I thought I would put into it. Water Lily Arts asks, what made you start your YouTube? Honestly, I started my YouTube for self-betterment. I really wanted a way to keep myself accountable, and plus, I don't know, I wanted to share my art, and DeviantArt really wasn't doing it for me, and I hadn't started any social media, which was really dumb on my part, but, that's really what made me start my YouTube. Now, I keep it because I love interacting with all of you, and yes, I know it's cliche, but it's true. She also asked, do you ever want to have kids? Yes, eventually. I feel like I'm too young, and I feel like I'm too selfish to want kids right now. I don't know. And there are other underlying factors, but eventually we will probably have kids, and we'll probably adopt, because that's probably the way the cards are gonna fall, but I'm okay with that. But, I don't know. I want little munchkins running around. Eventually, just not yet. She also asked, if you could draw only one pose for the rest of your life, what pose would that be? Oh, man. That's a hard one. I would pick, and I'll probably put a picture on the screen, somebody that is kind of like turned. Oh, geez. I'll put a picture on the screen to find what I'm looking for, or I'll doodle something, but, like with their back facing the camera with their hands on their hips and they're turned around looking like that, like friggin' empowerment pose. Yes. That Gaming Fish asks, how did you learn such as self-taught classes, high school, college, I assume art? It's mostly self-taught. I get some references online every once in a while and I'll doodle those. When I first started art, I really just drew whatever, and in retrospect that was just a bad idea. I should have built my foundation a little bit, but of course I didn't think I had to, so I was mostly self-taught. I took like one class in high school that lasted like 2 weeks because I didn't really stay at that high school. I ended up moving high schools, and I've never really taken a class outside of that, so I guess I'm mostly self-taught. Panda Arts asks, what's your favorite drawing that you've ever drawn? And I already answered that. I already put the pictures on the screen. So if you want to see that, it'll be earlier in the video. Dog Does Art asks, would you ever consider doing a mural or otherwise larger drawing with supplies like spray paint for a public or private piece? I'm asking because you seem very interested in trying new things, and I think your community would love something like that. I think it would be really fun, but I'm not confident enough in my skills to do a huge mural because I feel like I'm constantly messing up. And the cool thing about spray paint, like I've seen spray paint videos, and the cool thing is they make multiple layers, and I feel like there's no room for error, and that's what really stresses me out about it. But I would totally do it if I could just get some more confidence. Fluffy Art asked a few questions. They asked, if you could voice act a character in an animated movie, would you? Yes, but I feel like my voice is not great enough, so nobody would probably cast me, but if I had the opportunity, I totally would. They also asked if I'm ever going to make a comic. I want to. That is one of my New Year's resolutions, is to maybe not make the comic, but set myself up in a direction that I can start making a comic. I have a lot of characters in multiple, not really universes, but I guess it technically is, that I would really like to tell their story, so I definitely want to make a comic someday. I think it would be really fun. They also asked, do you draw people's OCs for free or not, or do you not just draw people's original characters? In all honesty, I generally don't. I take commissions. I don't know. I know that it was really popular to draw other people's OCs on YouTube, and it seemed like a fun thing, and it might be something I do maybe for like a giveaway or something. But for the most part, I really don't work for free, which sounds really douchey. I'm sorry. Melissa G, I think it's G, asks, how do you store all of your art supplies / all of your markers? Well, to answer the markers specifically, I don't know if you watch Bailey J, but I have something similar to that, like a foam board, homemade kind of setup. My husband made it for me, super nice of him, and it's held up pretty well. It's kind of falling apart, but it's held up pretty well so far. As for all of my art supplies, I store most of them in, I don't even know what they're called. They're like storage bins. They have like the drawers and they stand upright and people buy them for college or whatever. I normally store them in that, but I plan on making a workstation tour this year. That's one of my art resolutions, because every year I promise to do it and I don't do it, so I'm gonna deliver this year. Fathom Fantastic asks, why do you love squids? Well, it's actually a funny story. It's kind of a dumb story, but when I was in like 5th grade, I don't even know what they were. It was like a traveling aquarium. It was very, very weird. They literally just brought sea life to your school, and we got to touch them and stuff, and it was really cool. And they obviously brought squid, and they were alive, and they were really cool. And I don't know, I just kind of fell in love with them. And then, of course, Splatoon kind of solidified that. But before Splatoon, there was my 5th grade traveling aquarium. I don't even know what they're called, but yeah, I just really thought they were really cool looking with their triangle heads and their squishy tentacles, and I don't know, I just think they're cool. Natalie Coley asks, what is your favorite Disney movie and or character? Also, what is your favorite food? Lion King. Not the remake that they're planning on remaking, but yeah, Lion King is my favorite, and I really like the sequels. Well, maybe not 1.5, but I like 2 as well. But yeah, that's like the most untraditional answer, but that's my favorite. Favorite character though, we're gonna go with a human on this one. I really like Tiana. I mean, I really do. I just like her whole story. I like everything about her, and she's just awesome. If you guys don't know, she's from Princess and the Frog. I really like the aesthetic of that movie too. It's set in New Orleans, and it's just amazing. So I really like Tiana. Also, what is my favorite food? Anything Italian. Italian. How do you pronounce that word? Anything Italian. I love pasta. I love cooking Italian food. I love this place called Johnny Carino's that I go to like once a year for my anniversary. It's my favorite. My husband hates me for it because he hates pasta, but oh well, his loss. Brooke I. Hassan? I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your name. They asked, when I first watched your videos, I watched a picture you did of Camilla. So did you ever get around to playing Birthright? If so, who's your favorite Hoshidan? I have gotten around to playing Birthright. I didn't get very far. Shoot. I'm trying to think. I don't remember what chapter I got to. I'd have to boot up my game. I really like Rinka, and I really like Hinoka. I haven't really met all the characters yet, so I'm not ridiculously far. I know, I'm terrible at playing games. I'm one of those people that plays a game, and I like, kind of rotate my game, so by the time I get back to it, I have no idea what I was doing. So I'm a terrible video gamer. It's a miracle that I've even beaten a single game in my whole life. But, you know, that's just the way it happens, I guess. Toon Mazik asks, what's your favorite anime? Yu Yu Hakusho is my favorite anime, and I could talk about this all day long. But I've seen it like 6 or 7 times through, and I love it. I have an obsession with it, and it's quite sad. It's like a 90s anime, and I don't know, the animations and stuff aren't really that great, but I still really love it because probably just because of nostalgia, if I'm honest. But I don't know, I really like it, so that's your answer. Brett Allen asks, cactuses? I don't know what context this is in, but yes. Alright guys, this was really lengthy, but I'm so happy that you guys came and asked your questions. I love answering questions. I always want to do more Q&As, and then my little pea brain forgets that I want to do more Q&As, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to do that, and it's been like a year. So thank you guys so incredibly much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the speed paint, or probably not speed paint for how long this is, probably real time. Of my redraw this again challenge. I really like creating this mermaid over and over again. It gives me an excuse to draw a mermaid. So I really hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, don't forget to thumbs up the video if you like videos like this where I draw things again or I do Q's and A's. Also, don't forget I do have social media, so if you want to follow those, links will be in the description below, and if you want to follow us here on the Squid Pod, you certainly can do so by hitting that subscribe button. And there's a little bell button next to that, so if you click it, you get notified on when I upload new videos. So, until next time, guys, toodaloo!